Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Shadowhunters. 2 episodes. Episode 305, titled Stronger Than Heaven, which premiered Tuesday, April 17, 2018 on Freeform, as well as episode 306, titled A Window into an Empty Room, which premiered Tuesday, April 24, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording on April 29th, as I just finished watching 306. On Netflix. So huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the 2 episodes already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I've only read the first 3 books, so only up to City of Glass I have read. So pretty much this whole season is supposed to be brand new information for me in regards to book influences or references. So there's that. I'm going to try to do this in 20 minutes, so let's start the clock and let's begin with what happened in 305. So with that said, timeline-wise, 305 continues straight off of where 304 ended. We also get the marker that Magnus and Alec have been dating for less than 2 months, so it's been less than 2 months since season 1, which is crazy. So there's that. Also, there has been 26 victims total since 301, since the owls started attacking. A huge episode reminder is the fact that Lilith gets a step ahead of everybody. So there's that. First moment of the episode is Magnus meeting with his new client, Lilith, though she is not named, and this is continuing off from the last scene of 304. So there's that. Now, storyline breakdowns for the episode. I picked up on 4 different ones. First one, Clary summoning Ethereal. Second one, Jace solving Simon's sabotage with his gig. Third one being Lilith claiming Jace for herself. And number 4 being the Lightwood love lives popping up. So with the first storyline, we get Clary confessing to Luke about her wish to resurrect Jace. We also get the return of Cleophas, who they both go to so that they can find a way to summon Ethereal. When Clary does this, Ethereal tells Clary that the wish she made to resurrect Jace, that didn't harm Jace in any way. It just made him vulnerable for other attacks. So before he was able to tell her that that Jace is involved with Lilith, he is actually killed by Lilith in her beast form. So there's that. Second storyline is to kind of get his mind off of his own issues. Jace helps Simon figure out who's trying to sabotage his gig at the Hunter's Moon. This is when they find out that Kyle is actually a werewolf that works for the Praetor. And apparently, Jace has never met anyone from the Praetor, but he does know the reputation of the Praetor, so he kind of stands down from that. So third storyline, Lilith claiming Jace for herself. She summons a demon who accidentally attacks Izzy when she's wearing one of Clary's dresses, so instead Lilith has to go and get the sliver of soul from Clary herself because she needs it to complete the anti-love elixir that she gives to Jace. Fourth storyline with the Lightwood, so we get Izzy going out on a dinner date with Dr. Charlie, as well as we get Alec and Magnus talking about the whole mortality issue between them, about Alec being immortal and Magnus being an immortal. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show Lilith successfully giving Jace that anti-love elixir so that it erases any trace of love that he had for Clary. So there's that. Character-wise, though, we see the return of Ethereal, who did get killed by Lilith. We also see the return of Cleophas, who's kind of taken refuge at Luke's cabin. So there's that. We also find out with Kyle that he is a werewolf connected to the Praetor Lupus, been sent there to help any downworlders who need support. Also, Underhill, he's the head of security at the Institute. He thanks Alec for inspiring him to come out at the Institute. So he shows his appreciation for the boss there. Also, with Lilith, we see her in her true form, which is a winged beast of a demon. She again is not named in this episode, and her beast form kind of reminds me of Mollis from Legends of Tomorrow. So it's like, hey, they're cousins, what's up, type of thing. But anyway, so runes though, we only see the one rune, and that is the angelic rune, and it was used by Clary to summon Ethereal. So tidbit wise though, we get Chase telling Alec that he's planning to go to the Silent City to get treatment for what he believes is psychosis that he inherited from his mom. Also, we see Izzy's demon necklace that Magnus gave to her back in 104. We see it return as a bracelet that now Izzy wears. So there's that. Also, we see Simon singing again for his gig at the Hunter's Moon toward the end of the episode. So moving on to what happened in 306. So timeline-wise, I believe it's the next day after the events of 305. It's definitely been a few days since Alec has seen Maris, his mom. Episode reminder is the fact that the owl is unmasked to our characters, not just to us. So there's that. First moment of the episode showed vampire Heidi preparing to see Simon while her victim is hanging from the ceiling, draining or having their blood drain. So it's like very creepy there. So there's that. Episode breakdowns though for this episode. 3 different storylines. First one, Magnus and Clary teaming up to find the beast that attacked Clary. Second one being Simon's own personal stalker in the form of Heidi. And the third one is the relationship fights that we see in the episode. So with the first storyline, we get to meet brother Zachariah, one of the silent brothers that Magnus knows from a while back, and they get information they need, not only old texts about who this possible creature could be, but they also get confirmation that Jace did not go to the Silent City to get treatment. They also realize that the elixir that Magnus cooked up for his client was used on Jace when they figured out that Clary's soul, a piece of it, was missing, and they also find out that Jace is the owl. So there's that. Second storyline though was Simon re-meets Heidi, finds out how she was sired to him. Also, we get a fight between Heidi and Izzy when she mistakenly believes that Izzy is Simon's girlfriend. And also we see in the end Simon giving Heidi over to the Praetor Lupus, as she kind of won't let him go, and yet she has no one else to support her. So to kind of protect everybody else from her jealous craze, he gives them over to Kyle and his Praetor buddies. So there's that. Relationship-wise, for this third storyline, was that Alec and Magnus still deal with the whole mortality issue between them and their fights about that. Also, we see Clary getting the backlash of Jace not loving her anymore and feeling odd about it, which leads to her confiding in Magnus about it and then realize that he's been dosed with the anti-love elixir. So there's that. But the last moment of the episode shows Jace being discovered as the owl by Clary, Magnus, and Luke, just after he got his hands on Ollie, who is now possessed, and one of the disciples that Lilith needed. She only needed the last one, so Ollie makes 33 if she's successful. So there's that. Character-wise, though, we do meet Brother Zachariah. He does not look like the other silent brothers, but he and Magnus were close with Jace's ancestors a while back. So Brother Zachariah even says, any friend of Will Herondale's is a friend of mine, which extends to Magnus. So there's that. Ollie, we see her being turned into the 33rd disciple that Lilith needed to bring Jonathan back. So there's that. There's also seems to be that she might be in a fight of her own with her girlfriend Samantha, though we don't see Samantha in the episode. Also, we see the return of Mayor Slightwood. She is now de-ruined, and she is trying to adjust to life now as a mundane. We also see return of Underhill, head of security as well. And he kind of gives some advice to Alec, which I'll mention later on. Also, with Kyle, we see him trying to delay meeting Maya, although we don't know why, but a lot of book readers do know why. And because of that, I kind of suspect. So there's that. Heidi, we find out that she was sired to Simon because she died with his blood on her lips. Don't really know why on her lips would be enough to turn her. I thought the blood would have to actually be in their system in order to do that, but there's that. But also with Dr. Charlie, we found out that he works with kids. So he works with kids. He also meets Izzy's family in the form of Jace, Alec, and Maris. And he knows that something is off with her. Like, he knows that she's telling lies in regards to when she's trying to hide Shadowhunter business, but he kind of wants to know why. So there's that. Runes, we don't really see any runes in action today, except for the fact that with Maris Lightwood, she has no trace of runes on her. It looks like they were never there to begin with, which is sad. So there's that. Tidbit-wise, though, we find out that Max is living with his father, Robert, I believe in LA, and he's doing well adjusting there. We also found out that Izzy has only been on one date with Charlie, and yet she invited him to meet her family. Also, we see Simon not able to get a hold of Raphael, and then Isabel confirming that she had made Raphael leave town. Also, we see Jason this episode is continuously under Lilith's control. It's no going in and out of her control like last episode. So there's that. And the most shocking moment of the episode, I have to say, for 305 was the fact that Ethereal was killed by Lilith. Hand through the chest from behind is how she killed him. Also with 306, I think my surprising moment for that has to be Jace's attitude as Lilith's servant. I felt like he kind of like wouldn't still be able to pull off being Jace for some reason. Like, I thought it would be like a distinctly different person just inhabiting Jace's body, like I'm aware of with Supernatural and their demon possessions. But here it was actually just Jace still being Jace. It's just that his loyalties were now towards Lilith, if that makes sense. So anyways, moving on to top 3 favorite moments. For 305, I wrote down the first one was the moment between Clary and Ethereal. I really wish that we got to see more of their connection together. I really liked that he was able to answer the questions that she had, and I really kind of wish that she was able to learn more from him before he was killed. But I did like that we got to see him again talking to her. Another favorite of mine was Jace helping Simon out. It was interesting to see their banter with each other and just like their witty rhetorics, and just how Jace was able to figure things out or even point things out to Simon. It's like, there's no one that's that lucky that will find a place that like has everything you like, and it's like you don't find it suspicious. And then Sam's like, well, maybe, yeah, but I'm just that lucky. So it was interesting for Simon or Jace to be that suspicious voice of reason type of thing, but also still want to help Simon out, even though he claims he's not doing it because they're friends or anything like that, but because Clary cares for him. So that was interesting. Another favorite was mine was hearing Simon sing again. I always like that. So there's that. And another one was the fact that Jace flat out told Lilith that he had a girlfriend at the bar. I really liked that. There was like no hesitation. It was just like seeing where she was going with this. He flat out told her like, I have a girlfriend. So it's kind of like putting all stops there as well. So I really like that. I also like the fact that in 306, the same thing kind of happened with Simon and Heidi. When she tried to kiss him, Simon said, oh no, I have a girlfriend. He stepped away. So I really like that immediate reminders that they do have significant others. I don't like the whole delayed thing about how like a person in a relationship allows another person to kiss them, and then it's like, what did you do? Or it's just like, I have a girlfriend. It's like, you cheated type of things. And like, no. So for these 2 episodes, I like that Jace and Simon, both in their respective situations, immediately put it out there when they were able to, saying that I'm already with someone. This can't go any further than you thought it would, type of thing. So I really like that. So let's move on to 306 officially with my favorite moments. Absolute favorite moment for this episode is the whole family teasing with the Lightwoods, when you get Alec and Jace pretty much teaming up in their teasing towards Isabel when they find out that she has a new boyfriend in Charlie. And it's just like, I could watch the scene over and over again. And then Maris is just sitting there and like kind of reeling and smiling and just gushing over the fact that her daughter now has a boyfriend, and even though she claims it's not a boyfriend. And then Alec and Jace are just looking at each other like, what? We're not going to cause you any trouble. Yet they're smirking. It was such a hilarious scene just to have the 4 of them as well together. Like, you don't really get that much of a fun dynamic with the 4 of them. Last time I think all 4 of them was last season, when they had to deal with the issue of Jace being Valentine's son. But it was this scene I absolutely loved, and I will continue to watch over and over again when I find it on YouTube. So that was a favorite for mine. Another favorite of mine, also with Maris, is the spark between her and Luke. I was like, I'm totally rooting for them. Plus, now they have the whole common thing about they were both former Shadowhunters. Now they have to deal with their changed life. Maris being a mundane, Luke being turned into a werewolf. And then just having on that added history of the fact that Luke remembered something about her from 20 years ago. And just like, oh, I can feel the spark between them, and I'm so rooting for them. So I'm loving that. I also like the moment that Isabel had with her mother, Maris. It was in front of the mirror, and Maris was saying, like, I don't even know who I am anymore without the runes, without being a Shadowhunter. And as he tells her, you're still strong, you're still brilliant, you're still beautiful. And I just love that support. I love that moment between them. Usually it's the other way around, the mother providing those words to the daughter, but I love that it was the reverse for this one. And it was definitely much needed. Very appreciated for that. Another favorite of mine, though, is that we got to see Magnus and Clary teaming up to figure out this major puzzle of theirs. The fact that they figured out that Magnus's client was the beast that attacked Clary, just disguised as human form. The fact that they figured out that Jace was given an anti-love elixir when they figured out that the beast was Magnus's client. And then the fact that because of that, they confirmed the fact that Jace was the owl. So I just really liked so much progress that Clary and Magnus had with each other, as well as the fact that they were both asking each other how they felt. The fact that you got Magnus calling Clary Biscuit again, which you haven't had since season 1, I don't think. It's just that it definitely reminded me of the fact that Magnus has seen Clary once every year. And even though it was for a memory charm, he still saw her grow up. So it's like, it was great to see them have that type of a bond shown again, because I definitely missed that. Also, another favorite of mine has to be Underhill telling Alec that it's okay to feel what he is feeling. When Alec was stressing over the fact that Magnus was questioning his concerns and how maybe because this is the first relationship, it wouldn't, the issue we're having right now wouldn't have seemed so daunting if you had another relationship before him. But I really like what Underhill said to Alec, saying, like, and I quote, "Magnus isn't a Shadowhunter. He may not understand our ways. Nephilim love once, fiercely. Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself." I absolutely love that quote for Underhill, because not only does it tell us that Shadowhunters love only once and so fiercely, it also proves the fact that for Alec, this very well is the one fierce love for him. So essentially, he's not going to be able to compare anything else to this. This is going to be solely the most powerful relationship or emotion he's going to have. And the fact that Underhill told him, like, it's okay to feel this. It's okay that Magnus won't understand this. Even though he's centuries old, this is something that is strictly for Shadowhunters. They only love once, which is a sad thing, but then it also expresses how important this relationship between Magnus and Alec is. And I just love the support that Underhill seemed to have for Alec. So there's that. Also, I love the fact that Alec, drunk, did not make any moves. He was still faithful to Magnus, because usually when someone is drunk and they're in a fight, you're going to see them cheating, and then that's going to bring an issue to the couple later on, and which I'm glad we didn't go down that route. So I'll leave that one there. But moving on to top 3 peeve moments. For 305, I have to say a peeve was that Eutheria was killed, as well as the fact that Lilith was able to get Jace to ingest that anti-love elixir. Hated that so much, but I'm glad that that wasn't kept up for long, since it was discovered in the following episode. Now with 306, a peeve of mine was Heidi. I absolutely hate her, and I kind of wish, I really love that Isabel suggested Heidi should be turned into the Clave, but I'm really glad that Simon gave her over to the Praetor. I just have a bad feeling that's going to bite him in the butt later. So there's that. Heidi in general was just a huge annoyance for me. Also, a huge annoyance was the fact that Ollie got out of the car when the owl attacked. I don't know if it was just a cop thing of hers, but if you get attacked outside your car, wouldn't you just stay in your car where it's safe and drive off away from the person who attacked you? Why the hell would you get out of your car? I mean, even as a cop, why would you get out of a car? You call for backup. You lock yourself in the car, because chances are the person who attacked you is going to stay and try to get at you. And that was a huge annoying thing. The moment Ollie got out of the car, I was like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? That's like the number one no. It's like saying, like, in the horror movies, when you know not to split up and the characters split up, it's just like, why? So anyways, moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode. 305, Jace questioning Kyle's entrance into Simon's life. I definitely will remember that. Just the whole Jace being the suspicious spokesperson for me when it comes to Kyle, and just like questioning all these little convenient entrances for Kyle. I really like that. Also with 306, I'm going to remember the fact that Clary discovers that Jace is the owl. She's definitely got to tell the Institute. She's definitely got to tell Alec and Izzy about this. There's no way this is going to be kept between them. So there's that. Moving on to random questions very quickly. First one from 305 is, with Jace having the anti-love elixir, do we now have to see Clary find a way to break that elixir or get Jace to fall in love with her all over again, like those amnesia love stories we see sometimes floating around? I don't know, it'll be interesting either way. It'll be interesting to see what it takes to break an anti-love elixir, like ingredients-wise and action-wise. But then it'll also be interesting to see just how Clary would be able to have Jace fall in love with her. Because, I mean, like, to what extent does this elixir do? Does it erase the existing love he already has for her, or does he also erase any love that he could ever form for her? So that's the next question there. Next question, though, was Alec looking up a way for him to become immortal so that he could be with Magnus? I'm just wondering if that's what he was looking for before Underhill interrupted him. So there's a question there. Also another question, does the Praetor have any leads about Simon's forehead mark? I know many people are calling it the mark of Cain, but until I get confirmation in the show, I'm not going to call it that. It's just going to be the forehead mark or the branding or whatever. But I'm wondering if the Praetor has any information about that. So there's that. Last question for 305 was, will Clary feel that sliver of soul that was stolen from her? Like, would you feel any different of some sort? So it'll be interesting to see about that. Now with 306 though, first question was, are the Silent brothers immortal? Because with Brother Zachariah and Magnus, they both said that they were very close to Jace's ancestors. And since we know Magnus is immortal, does that mean that the same is said for the Silent brothers, or more particularly Brother Zachariah? So there's that. And I also hope that we find out why exactly he looks differently than all the other Silent brothers who look like their eyes and their mouth are sealed shut. So there's that. Another question. If Shadowhunters love wants fiercely, did the anti-love elixir ruin any chance of Jace feeling that fierce love once again? So there's that. Second question, or third question. Luke shot the owl repeatedly with no effect. If Jace wasn't under the owl's influence, would those shots have affected him? I'm assuming they would have, because Jace is not bulletproof. But then I'm wondering I'm wondering if his immunity to these shots was due to that kiss that Lilith gave him. There's the timer. Next question. What are the chances of Heidi returning and seeking revenge on Simon if she escapes the Praetor's custody? I have a really bad feeling about that, because she did that huge angered outburst towards him as they took her away. So there's that. And the last question. Did Dr. Charlie see the runes on Jace and Alec, as well as noticing that they are the ones that match Izzy's, or are their runes under a glamour when mundane see them? That's what I'm wondering as well, though. Like, in general, if a mundane sees them, do they see the runes, or do they just see a regular person with no tattoos whatsoever? Because then I gotta wonder, did Dr. Charlie notice or even realize the fact that both Izzy, Jace, and Alec have the same type of tattoos running over their body? I mean, that's gotta be a question for someone who doesn't know anything about the Shadowhunter culture and stuff. So there's that. But moving on to predictions very quickly, as you know, the timer went off, so I'll be very quick about this. But promo for 307 shows that Simon's mark protects him once again. Also looks like Simon discovers that Kyle is Maya's ex-boyfriend. So there's that. Also looks like Jace chokes Clary over the side of a building and he drops her. So that's crazy. But moving on to synopsis for 307, it reads that with the owl's identity revealed, Alec, Isabel, and Clary head to Alicante to try and find a way to stop him. Luke and Simon team up to track Lilith's latest possible victim, and Maya reflects on her past. So from all that, though, it looks like Luke and Simon are going to try to track down Ollie and Samantha. Since Ollie is possessed, she'll be wanting to go after her girlfriend Samantha. Also, Maya reflects on her past, so it's probably going to deal with everything with her ex-boyfriend Kyle and how things ended with them. I definitely believe he's the one that turned her into a werewolf, so we're definitely gonna see that moment, I believe, in the flashbacks of him attacking her as a wolf. So there is that. I can't wait to see Alicante though again. So with that, previews did pop up for the episode. The first one showed Simon and Kyle talking before Maya comes with a blood delivery and realizing that Simon's roommate is someone she once knew. And the second clip shows Magnus and Alec back at the Institute, with Magnus blaming himself for falling for Lilith's lies about the elixir, and then Magnus promising Alec that he will fix things for Chase if it's the last thing he does. So that's about it, guys. What did you guys think of the two episodes? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and predictions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog, promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. I'm behind on updating my Tumblr page, but I'll get right to it hopefully very soon. Work is picking up in the next few weeks, but it's on my list. Also, WordPress account, link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected through WordPress. It's more organized over there, but it's still a work in progress as well. But that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next two episodes. But until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.